It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
The 2015 Dream Season Decree is a deadly combination of speed and precision. It's built for the moments when time stands still. When the only thing that will break the silence is an arrow slicing a clean path to the kill zone. The bow of your dreams is a nightmare for big game. This is PSE's Decree. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back to another Up North Journal Minicast.
Something you're going to hear in the next 3 to 5 minutes, and guess what? You're not going to hear anything about this on our main show, but we're going to talk about it right here in this minicast. And matter of fact, we're talking trails. Happy trails.
Happy trails. Happy trails to you.
Yeah.
You know, talked about flashlights this week.
Yep.
Usually you're out tracking or you're out walking to your stand or back from your stand or whatever, you know, if you got a flashlight and you need it. But, you know, one thing people do to help them find their way through the woods is they mark trails.
Absolutely.
Do you?
I do. Depending on what stand, depending on what blind or where I'm going to be going. Because most of them I'm pretty good at, I can get to just walking to. Because usually it's off of one of our four-wheel trails. Mm-hmm. And it's right there, or you go to the end. There's one that I have marked because if you get... you're going to either end up in the swamp or in the neighbor's property if you take a wrong turn. Mm-hmm. So I've got that one marked. And the other one is basically you can walk. You kind of walk the direction, and if you put the light up, you should be able to see the ribbon on the tree, and then you know you're right there.
Okay.
We've got those reflector pins in the trees too. Okay. We've put those up so in case you kind of get turned around, if you pick one of those up, you can kind of set yourself,
figure out where you're at.
Right. You brought this up. It kind of made me giggle. I remember kind of making my very first trail, like using tape. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of, I guess if you want to say, like, it was like every 20 feet. You know, it was like, I wasn't going to get lost here.
Right.
I kind of got kidded about that.
You had a rope from one end all the way to the other so you could use it as a hand line?
Pretty much. I made this, and then during the daylight hours, I looked back at it and it was like, okay, really?
It's like a parade?
Yeah, it was. And I got razzed about that. Hey, who made this trail? You know, they didn't want to get lost. I'm like, does it look like this tape?
Yeah, it was me.
And now that I know where I made that at the old camp, that I probably was at the base of the ridge, so I probably really didn't need that much. I just had to think of it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, when you're young and 14 years old and
scared of the dark,
you're scared of the dark, literally, is like, because when you got the rinoceroses out there and the elephants and
the pterodactyls and Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it's but it's always good to take some with you and to have with you, because just of the fact that you said if you start to track a deer, mm-hmm. you can start marking. They say to use tissue,
right?
You know, use tissue, but if it snows or rains the night, it bums you out.
Defeats the purpose of that, right?
So we've got some tape. I got a roll of tape up in the cabin. Hey, it's right here, everybody. If you need it, grab it. So, matter of fact, I got to remember to get some more. Thank you for reminding me. But it's I use it.
We don't, or I don't mark trails. I don't remember the last time I marked. When I was out in Colorado, we had these tacks you could put in the tree.
Yep.
but you had a blinking, like a LED blinking light, and it was a magnet on the back, and it would stick to the tack. So you could position these and backtrack yourself.
Really?
Yeah, they would blink. And you could see them for 100 yards. As long as nothing was blocking them, you could see them a long way. So that's the only time I've really used anything like that. And actually, we were blood trailing. So that's the reason.
Oh, yeah,
I had
definitely.
them, in a place where I'd never been before.
Especially that is a big one there, is if you've never been in that area.
Yeah.
Like up at our place, depending on which 40 you're positioned on, you really can't get lost.
Right.
You walk, you're going to hit a river. You walk, the other two ways, you're going to hit a road.
Right. Well, that's like where we're at. There's one area you can walk off into, and you're 7 miles from the nearest road. It's a long way, but you don't venture into that swamp without having some kind of ability to get in and out. You know?
Exactly.
But any other place on property, I don't even think twice about it. That's I've just never done it.
Right. Exactly. If we head south from our property, you cross over a couple properties, but if you break theirs and you hit that swamp, that swamp goes for a long ways.
Yeah. So,
but I definitely use the trail tape. And if you're, get out there, you definitely use it. It's there.
All right.
And I usually take it down. I usually leave up the one to remind me of where the spot was. Mm-hmm. So when I come back next year, it's like, oh yeah, this is right with the blind.
Right on.
And I usually take them down.
Right on.
So
okay. All right. That'll do it for this minicast. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.